Hello, Namaskar. My name is Mukherjee, and I welcome all of you to the first episode of On the Road podcast powered by the Antonym magazine. Today, as our guest, we have Biswadip Chakraborty, who is the founder director and the managing editor of the Antonym collections and the Antonym magazine, famously called the Antonym Translation Quarterly. To introduce him, I'd like to say 3 lines. He's a man who is always busy, but never tired. That can be his Instagram bio. Secondly, he has got 4 books in Bengali to his credit. And lastly, he doesn't like to be called Sir. He likes to be called just Biswadip or maybe Biswadip Da. But I beg your pardon. I have called him Sir throughout the podcast, which he didn't really like. But just for this podcast, he would be called Sir. Otherwise, he's just Biswadip or Biswadip Da for you and for me and for the entire team of the Antonym collection and the Antonym magazine. So here goes the story of a man who returned from Michigan to start a publishing house in Kolkata that would focus on translations with the sole aim of taking translations from Indian languages to the gates of the world. Enjoy the show. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. So welcome to the first episode of On the Road podcast powered by the Antonym Translation Quarterly. This is a new venture, and being an intern, this is a great opportunity, sir, to begin a podcast like this. A literary podcast in India is rare. I think we do not have a lot of literary podcasts, especially on translations. With this niche as the center, it's very, very rare. So how are you? Good?
I'm good. I mean, it is raining outside, but I think feel comfortable. Yeah.
Okay. My first question would be, on the 1st of July, I had my birthday and I went to Barisans in Kolkata. And I found the magazine that is set right here, you can see. And I found it exquisite. I found it one of the finest literary magazines that I have seen in India, produced in India, especially in my city. So what made you start this? And because a lot of people do not know that Antonym magazine started way back and way before the Antonym collections. What made you start a magazine?
So, when we started, I mean, this print magazine obviously came pretty late. The first issue was November 2024. But yes, we started with the magazine, and I feel always every question will have and can have multiple answers. So there are multiple answers to it. First of all, why a translation magazine, right? At the first place. So I used to live in the US, and one of the things that was always bothering me is, I mean, when I go to bookstores, and I used to go very often, right? I read books a lot. And I could never see any book translated from any Indian languages available in the bookstore. We had all the other languages, German, French, Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, and Portuguese, Arabic, but not from any Indian languages. So we thought, I mean, when I say we, I and Vishnupriya Chaudhary was also a founding partner and currently the chief editor of the Antonym collection or publishing house. We thought something can be done, has to be done, right? And what can you do? I mean, translation is a big task. I mean, I am not a translator, and though Vishnupriya is doing quite well on that, she was not a regular translator at that point in time. So we thought, let's try to create a translation platform. We looked at it as a platform first, where the translation from many different languages will come, not only Indian languages.
Right.
Why so? Because not only about translating Indian languages, we also thought the literature is a way to connect people across language, across national boundaries.
Right.
So these will be also for connecting culturally and literary wise between different culture and literature as well. So that is one thing, right? Secondly, while we haven't very seriously thought about publishing books by that time, but we knew by starting this platform and by focusing on a kind of translation magazine first, we're also focusing on shorter texts, either a short fiction or poetry, right? And that helped us also build the competency and to understand translation, to build translation competency as well as collaborate across the world.
So you said you were in US, and given a chance, I wouldn't like to lie, but I'll tell the truth that given a chance, knowing the circumstances here and the way literature is treated in the country, I would leave because opportunities are greater there. The publishing, the readership is booming. Unlike in India, what made you come back from US and start a literary magazine, a publishing house in Kolkata?
So
Did you ever think of making one in the US? Because the readership would be more.
we started our magazine while in the US, right? So that's not a point. We can, and it so happened both I and Vishnupriya came back to India. Like every question will have multiple answers again, right? So there are many different reasons, and literary and non-literary as well, and there are personal choices as well. So if we look at from a literary perspective, first of all, look at US publishing business at that point of time. And when I looked at, considering so much publishing was happening in the US, translation was still low percentage, only 9%.
Okay.
Right? So that means it was not so big in translation. It might have increased now because globally translation is increased. Secondly, if we have to talk about translation from Indian languages, we have to build the competency, we have to build the overall process and system. That was not possible from being there.
Okay.
Right? And the third thing, that if you see the way as an immigrant you live in the US, it's you don't get to meet, I mean, lot of literary people,
Okay.
even those are interested, and so easily.
Achha.
Obviously, those who may be in the in the in the system ecosystem, they are from their second generation, third generation. They might have more contacts. I don't know, but in general, I have seen. I've tried to build a lot of collaboration across the cities, across the states there, but it was still limited.
Okay.
So I mean, on a hindsight, if I see where we have come in 5 years, I don't think it would have been possible being there. What we are lacking is really producing this for the world and reaching out, connecting, and that is one of the major things that Antonym wants to do, trying to do, and magazine plays a vital role in that.
Sir, I pose this question from this understanding because I have studied English in my bachelor's and I'm currently pursuing my master's. I have seen not even the people who are in the discipline are reading books very regularly, rest alone the people who are not from the discipline. So, do you really think readership is booming in India or is it dwindling? Because recently I was listening to this podcast with Penguin's chief editor. He said the business is booming by 20%, but the business is majorly coming from the non-fiction books, the self-help books, the business books, but fiction is just the 30% of their business. But Antonym collections or the Antonym translation quarterly are absolutely dependent on poetry, fiction, interviews, art, cartoon. Do you think that the market can grow in future, can boom in future?
Again, there are multiple answers, right? So whatever statistics today we talk about readership, it is a statistic based on people reading books.
Okay.
In either e-book or in terms of printed book form, but the reading content has multiplied, right? I don't think there is any statistics available. If I read a story or novel by someone forwarded me a PDF copy or something like that. So that is one thing. Secondly, and that is very important to understand. So that's why Antonym is translation and very different from others.
Okay.
While magazine currently has focused on poetry, fiction and all, but look at the Antonym collection publishing. It is across all genres.
Right.
So we do not think that translation of literary fiction and poetry is the only thing.
Okay.
That's why we do bestsellers, popular story, science fiction as well, and even we are talking about business books, self-help books maybe, and any kind of non-fiction will be translating. So why you have to translate only fiction and poetry? Because as it stands, if you see the literary fiction, always in any country, the segment that reads literary fiction or poetry is very small.
Very small.
Compared to if I go to even any bookstore in the US, right? Popular and all these business books everywhere. This is not only about India. So if we are translating, why shouldn't we translate everything?
Right.
And also, translation is a way of sharing your culture with others, right? So if I don't translate everything across the genre, then I am not reaching many people in another country, another language. How do I transport my culture? So Antonym has looked at translation from that different angle also.
Okay. I'd like to tell the viewers that Me being from Kolkata, I have always aspired to be in the publishing industry, and I wish to become an editor. I wanted to read books. Proofreading would be a leisure for people like me. But we never thought that there can be a publishing house in India where science fiction is getting edited. Whether it's Seagull, whether it's Jadavpur University Press, whether it's Neogi.
That's what I'm saying.
In translation,
Their focus, generally when people are translating, their focus is on literary fiction and all.
Right.
But if you look at science fiction translation, there are other science fiction focused publishing houses. We are trying to help them as well. So because we believe that why science fiction? Romance. Why not? We should be talking about that. We should be talking about suspense, thriller, translating that, because there are a lot of readership, and through those also we have to reach out to people.
can you name a few publishers like these who are working on sci-fi translation, romance translation?
That is a Bengali science fiction, right? But they have tried their hand on translating film.
Okay.
They are doing that. We are in contact with them as well.
But still, science fiction readership of science fiction in India, we have hardly seen a very popular Indian writer writing science fiction quite regularly. In India, we have seen mythological fiction getting a lot of share. We have seen historical fiction, but science fiction has...
See, this is coming up. So, if you see some of the cases, we also believe in antonym as... See, the name of the antonym, right?
Right.
We are different. We do things differently. And the fact that there is nothing, because nothing is available. Now, can we make it available? So, somebody has to build the road. If you know, if army goes somewhere, the first battalion is those from road laying. So, we are the road layers. And we will be laying that road so that others can do that also. We have to make them popular.
How many titles have been published in the last 3 years of the Antonym collections?
Antonym collection hasn't completed 3 years. We're at 2 years, 6 months now.
2 years, 6 months.
And I think we have, every day data changes, not too many, but 100 plus.
100 plus.
Translation, yeah.
But don't you think that for a new publishing house, this is a lot of books that the Antonym collections has published and has distributed successfully? How did Antonym do this?
Because Antonym is not a publishing house only. Antonym is a publishing house as a byproduct, because we started as Antonym Council of Global Art and Literature, which is behind the magazine, right? So what does it mean that we have a non-profit organization and we have this publishing house together? It's kind of publishing house is one of the vehicles of the overall vision and mission of the non-profit. Now, running a non-profit has also helped us to collaborate with lots of people. Say, publishing house is generally created with few people, couple of people thinking, right? We needed to have thinkers, translators, writers from many different languages across India, across the globe. And that is one of the reasons you'll see that editorial team, there are so many people from different places, right? That was from an attitude perspective, we knew that the only way we can have a good collection, a representative one, by bringing lot of minds, literary minds from different places. So that helps us to grow our catalog faster as well.
Can you speak a bit more on the non-profit side of the entire business?
See, we never wanted to start a publishing house. I am having a busy professional life myself, and so what we thought that when we started, we'll create this platform, which is Antonym magazine, right? Apart from that, we spend our energy on carrying out translation workshop. We do translation residency, and we do literary events on translation. And last but not the least, we have also started giving grants. Our idea was we'll try to build an ecosystem, and we'll be creating content, but we won't publish. Somebody else will publish. But while doing so, we didn't find a publisher. We did work with our first couple of books, which before Antonym collection came, with another publisher. But we found that they don't have the understanding, the vision, and the wherewithal to really take this literature to the globe. So that's why, kind of a reluctant publisher, we started publishing books ourselves as well.
You spoke of grants.
Yeah.
Are grants quite common a sight in India for translations?
See, unfortunately not. If you look at many different countries, they give lot of translation grants, which help their literature to go to other countries. In India, that hasn't happened enough. I mean, I know National Book Trust might be giving some. Tamil Nadu government has started.
Okay.
And they are doing a big way, providing grants for translation. I have not heard enough about others. So when we say grants, we cannot give like a government, but at least we have given 5 grants this year, and that is coming to individual donors, which we are channelizing as grants.
Right. Okay. I was recently speaking with Abhijit Gupta from Jadavpur University, and he was speaking about how the Indian publishers are lacking in one place. They're not thinking a lot on translation rights. Like in other countries, they buy the translation rights and they sell it to someone else. The people who are buying the translation rights are not translating the work themselves. But when you're buying a translation right and you see in another country, they have a taste for this kind of literature, you can sell the translation right there because you know the book will work better there. Are you thinking in that road?
So it doesn't work exactly that way. I can tell you, we go to, we buy rights, right? We're also selling rights as well now. So suppose we are buying rights because we will be translating, right? So we also get into contracts with authors where we want to translate and we want to sell rights. That happens. But so there are rights agencies that there from whom we are buying, and some cases publishers themselves sell like we do. So that is there. So buying and selling of rights, particularly when the translation industry as a whole is actually growing, so there are enormous opportunities.
I understand. But is there a market for selling translation rights?
Definitely. I mean, that's what we go. I mean, I went to Tehran recently, Tehran Publishers Fellowship Program, and there are so many fellowships programs going on now. And people are buying rights, selling rights. Obviously, it helps when the government is also giving grants. Many government do. But other than that also, we buy rights.
Okay. Even last day on the Instagram account of the Antonym collections, you posted that you're inviting interns who are passionate and driven to come for jobs. What makes you trust the youth so much that you're calling interns, getting them into work? Some of them are still pursuing their masters, some have just passed from their bachelors. What makes you trust them? Because other publishing houses are not giving them as much opportunity.
I doubt why, though. See, we are in a creative world, and so in this creative work, you need new ideas, new thoughts, and a lot of energy. Not only literary field, I have been in different fields during my professional life. I have always seen the newcomers bring a lot of new energy and thought process. So why not interns? Particularly, there are brilliant kids coming out of colleges, and they have ideas. And this is a great opportunity for us to groom them. See, as I told, we are just not a publishing house. And so if we can mold few interns in understanding, valuing translation, it doesn't matter whether they're working with us or going to any other big publishing house or anywhere. That will help. I am creating a resource for translation, working somewhere. Right? Since we are not just publishing house, our non-profit, that comes always in our mind first. So how do we build translation resources for the ecosystem, whether that person works with us somewhere else? And since we know that we are doing this very professionally and with a lot of dedication, the people who will be coming here working with us for maybe 3 months, 6 months, I think most of them will understand, may carry that passion wherever they go. So that's why I think we're looking at more and more interns, because it is easier to mold them, and also I always see more creativity and energy coming out of them.
Right. I can speak of my interview. I got the magazine in my hand on my birthday, and I found his number on his website. Sorry to disclose this, but I found his number on the website. I called him up some 10 o'clock in the morning, and I told him that I loved the magazine and I want to get associated with it. At that time, I did not know that they were looking for interns. So he asked me to come to his office at 10 o'clock the next day, and I came, and he said, you can work with us, and when you leave, you'll have a lot of experience on how to build a career in publishing. Sir, I was talking to Rimidi Chatterjee, who was a professor in the past at Jadavpur University. She was taking our class in the editing and publishing course offered by Jadavpur University. She was telling, I'm teaching you this but I myself not know how to get into the industry anymore, because the last book that she got published from Harper or Penguin or any other leading publishing house in India was in 2010. She said in the last 10-15 years, the entire publishing industry in India has altered, because there is no penetration point. You cannot enter it, you cannot function in it, and you cannot get published if you do not have connections. What is your take on that? Why is somebody like Rimibhi Chatterjee, who is so influential in the field, is so pessimistic about the industry right now?
So, I mean, there are 2-3 points, right? Particularly, she is talking about penetration and getting published unless you know someone, for any field for that matter, right? Knowing someone helps.
Right.
Only thing is, how do we otherwise know whom do I show my work? That whether it is performance, it is this or that, ideas. So that's how this definitely gives a plus to someone who has some contact. I mean, it is not the literary field alone, right? So that is always there. We know that, and that's why we try to very often, even though, for example, we have translators whom I can give word, we always publish. This is a new book coming. Any interested person. Invariably, we have found 1 or 2 new persons who are really good translators, and we try to take them in our fold, so that by doing one novel or one collection, poetry collection, short story collection with us, they will go through this process, become seasoned, and maybe noticed somewhere. So we always don't, look at whether that person will be continuously working. No, we should not be thinking that way. Instead, we think that I am creating another person,
Right.
another skilled person, another impassioned person into that ecosystem, because our job is to build that ecosystem.
You're currently focusing on translations. Do you have any plans in future of diverting to original fiction, original poetry, which are not translated but original piece of work?
I think we are doing few like that.
Is Harshita Hia's work one of them?
Yeah, and there are few more, but percentage-wise, it is very less. You can see.
Why so?
Because we have very limited resources, and we are using those limited resources where we really want to make a mark. But that doesn't stop us from doing other books. But we are not seeking those actively right now. We will in future. We'll do that, because that is also to be done. The reason is those are what I can say, Indian English writing.
Right.
Now there are a lot of Indian English writing happening, but how many Indian English writing is getting launched in US and Europe? Very minimal.
Very minimal.
Obviously, Indian writers from US, they are launched there.
Yeah.
So we see that there is something to be done to also take the best of the best, right, in Indian English writing to other countries, right? That is possible. So we will do something, but with limited resources that we have, currently our focus is on translation.
So just a few more questions. I know you're busy. This person is always busy and never tired. So that can be a line in your Insta bio. I'm always busy but never tired. So you spoke of Indian writing in English. What do you think? Because you read a lot. What do you think? You spoke of Indian writers who are settled abroad, like Neil Mukherjee or Jhumpa Lahiri, who are speaking of stories, who are writing stories of the heartland, of maybe Bengal. Neil Mukherjee and Jhumpa Lahiri are writing stories of Bengal and beyond, perhaps. What do you think
Bengal
are the
diaspora, mainly
Bengali diaspora?
Yeah.
What do you think are the differences in sensibility of someone writing in their native language and then getting translated, and someone writing in English at the very first hand? Is there a difference of sensibility, though the stories are situated of the same people from the same place?
It is not stories of the same people and same place. Doesn't matter. Because a writer writes from their experience. So if you look at Jhumpa Lahiri's book, so definitely I am a fan of Jhumpa Lahiri. But why she stopped writing? Because she also knows that she was stuck in Bengali diaspora. And if you live in the US, you'll know it's all particularly first generation, or part of the second generation, your experiences are too much colored by particular community that you belong to.
Right.
So she was trying to break free from that. She has a great writing ability, right?
Yeah.
We all know that. We all love her work, but experience matters. Now, if you see forget about the diaspora writing, Indian English writing, and a writer, say, writing in Hindi or Bengali, more often than not, it is not only urban and rural divide, it is the experience is very different. You are, if you look at India, India is not only in Calcutta, Delhi and Mumbai and all, and there, see our lifestyles and slowly mimicking the global lifestyle. So, how does it, unless there is some unique theme, it is no different. Right? So from that matter, it particularly popular bestsellers might work well, but when you have literary one, it is there is in translation you are also taking the culture along, right? That is missing. Whereas if it is written by, consider a writer, Bengali writer like Ansaruddin. He is a farmer himself. Right? He does his own land tilling and all. He also writes. So if you read his writing, you will see the inside story of a farmer's life. I haven't read anything like that. Even somebody from village, I am born and brought up in village. I can write something on the farmer, but then also I am seeing from outside. So he sees from inside. Just an example. Nobody can, somebody in the city, this thing can go and write about farmers, but he is writing about his life, how he, this thing, right? So the angle changes. And so many different shades of culture, life you will see when you actually see the literature in the vernacular language. So there is a difference. I am not discounting what is written on the other side. I am saying it is different. Good or bad, it depends completely. Literature is not good or bad. It is a reader who decides this is good for me, I will read this. That's all. So, but this is different, starkly different.
Okay. Sir, there's this myth that I've often come across, especially post the winning of I think it was Gitanjali Shri. After Gitanjali Shri won the Booker Prize, and then Your Foss won the Nobel Prize, and this year Banu Mushtaq has won the Booker Prize. With these wins at the Nobel Prize and the Booker, people have suddenly started saying that translations are coming to the forefront. But being a student of literature for the last 3-4 years, 5 years, I have seen ever since the maybe 14th or 15th century, it has always been translation that has kept literature alive. Whether translations of Plato or Aristotle into English, into Latin, into Arabic, it has always been translation that has driven philosophy and literature over the course of history. Do you have anything to say to break the myth that translations are coming to the forefront now after these wins?
I know it is coming to the forefront now, but not necessarily for these wins. It might have inspired some more people, and it's right for the right reasons for doing translation. I think what we have observed, what I have drawn some conclusion from the fact that, interestingly, COVID made a difference. COVID, yeah.
Made a difference in translations. How?
That is the time, if you see, people were at home, and people started connecting throughout the world, and there is a realization that your life is linked to the world, right? And the writers, translators, they are more sensitive people. They understood more, I think, that your life is connected to the whole world, and we don't know much about them. So that and the COVID provided an opportunity. While we are not able to go out of our house, not able to meet the next door neighbor, we have been connecting with people around the world, right? So that is there. Second thing, if you see which languages are translated most from into English, as I was saying, 9% in American. I was looking at the statistics. Top was German, then French, right, and then Spanish. It went like that. Why? Those governments were supporting
translation.
their languages, because maybe they are more proud about their literature. They also wanted to influence the whole world, that you're allowing others to know more about you. And so French did that, right? And that is the two most, and they have, as you can see in India also, you have Max Muller Vauban, you
Right.
have Alliance Française. So others don't have that kind of vibrant atmosphere for teaching those languages.
Right.
Others are waking up, even small countries. I can tell you, I receive fellowship programs happening in Mongolia, happening in Azerbaijan, so small Georgia, and everywhere. Right? This fellowship program is nothing but bringing publishers from different part of the world, that these are my grants, and do you want to translate, buy rights, etc.
Right.
So everybody is working up to the fact. So that is also adding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And my last question. Our podcast is named On the Road. The philosophy behind this name is definitely this taken from Bob Dylan's song, Like a Rolling Stone, from the Beat Generation, Jean Croc. Everything is combined, but On the Road because we are focusing on translations, and translations take a transit from one form to the other, and there is a line called lost in translation as well. So it is almost like being on the road. It's not like reaching a particular destination altogether, but enjoying the process of translating and reading what is lost and gained in the process. Can you tell me, in the last 2 years and 6 months of running the publishing house and the non-profit and the magazine for the last 5 years, what is your moment on the road? What is your on the road moment where you think, I do not feel like I've reached the destination, but I'm on the road, I've lost something, I've gained something else? What is that moment?
So, I mean, the name is interesting, On the Road. As a person, I'm on the road most of the time. If you open the trunk of my car, there is a suitcase.
Right.
Yeah, because I go from place to place and meet people,
Right.
and travel around, right? So I am actually on the road because I really go. Now, second thing is, when you look at translation and look at anything, I mean, my philosophy itself is continuous improvement.
Okay.
Right? I don't believe in analysis paralysis. I believe that to reach somewhere, you have to start.
Right.
Right? While starting, if you start thinking, these are the problems I'll face here, obviously you should be risk aware, right? But apart from risk awareness, I am also aware of the opportunity.
Right.
So I feel once you start, and then you will be facing risk, you will be gaining also. Same in translation. When you say lost in translation, are there gains in translation also? So translation, I know I am not going to name the writer or writers whose original writing is content-wise very good, literary quality has not been so good, right, for different reasons. But on translation, the literary quality also has improved. So that is, loss is always there, but what we are gaining, we should not be losing out. And at the end of the day, I won't be able to give anything. Instead, I am giving 90%, 80%. I think we're doing good.
Before we end, I'll just like to add that we have started our Instagram page recently, and we are growing pretty well. Our cartoon, which got released last day, has reached out to almost 1,300 people on LinkedIn, Instagram combined, and it has received quite some appreciation from editors and writers who have commented, who have shared it on their stories, and most of them liked it, and some of them have personally messaged me on Instagram. And this is quite interesting because I have been in this field of literature as a student, and I've always followed these people, but unfortunately they never followed me back. But ever since I've started the Instagram page on the name of the Antonym magazine, whether it's Janvi Borua or Arunav Sinha, everyone is following back. What's this magic? Why are they following us back?
So first of all, you are doing a great job. So take pride, right? Take credit. First of all, we have to do that. I mean,
Right.
doing good work, take the credit. Secondly, I think since Antonym is doing a lot of different things, as we are able to reach to people, and I'm personally reaching to many different people almost every day. If a particular day I have not met a new person altogether, that is very rare, right? And I think we didn't realize that we have been doing some good work, and diverse work. And when I reach out and people do say, yes, we are doing different things, sometimes people get amazed, Sometimes people get curious how it has been done or being done, and sometimes they are having doubt how really this is possible. But as I said, so Antonym has made a name, and because the model in which we work,
Right.
our basic model is, first of all, we are in the field of translation. In my mind, translation is the biggest form of collaboration. You might ask why. So, suppose I am collaborating with you,
Right.
talking here. So, this collaboration is at a, I will say, still superficial level. But if I am a translator and I am trying to translate your poem, and you are not there even, that means through that I am trying to understand your voice. Right? I am getting into what is inside you that has brought it out. That as a good translator, I will do that. That is the highest form of collaboration. You're trying to know people. So in this world where people are running, everybody is interested about themselves. All the translators, they are to a great extent selfless. They're trying to understand another writer and poet's mind, right? Their reason for writing this. So I find this is the biggest form of collaborator, and I salute every translator because of the selfless act. If you see most of the cases, we don't remember who has translated a book, right? Unless the translator has got a Booker Prize. So one of the major changes that we have done, if you see our book, so we try to put either here, we have not given even author's name also, but if we give author's name, if you look at our Flaming Flowers book, where is the anthology, author, translator, always the name is there, right? It is not at the very end the translator's name, because we think the translator has already done a selfless job, so let's give the credit to them.
The credit is, I think, very evident, because even on the website, I joined only 3 weeks back, and it's not been very long, but still, my job is to post on the website the content that gets posted every Saturday. It has been strictly and categorically told to me that the translator's name and the language from which it is translated from should be in the 18 font in bold and all caps.
True, because we think that is the most important thing.
And that's the first line, even above the picture. Just below the title, that's the first thing that I have to write. So translator is given the due credit.
Yeah, that definitely is required, because as I say, collaboration. And Antonym is thriving on collaboration. Not only with translators collaboration I talked about, we collaborate with almost everyone, whoever is ready to collaborate, because we think this is not a publishing house. Instead, this is a movement of connecting people across the world. Yeah, that is our motto, that is our theme, and that is what drives us.
Is there anything else at the end that you wish to tell the aspiring authors and translators who wish to translate and write?
I can only say that we are always ready to work with new authors, new translators, new in everything, because the new means also something different which we don't have. So if you are interested, you want to know about us, work with us, do write to us or visit our website, leave a comment, and help the movement grow, become bigger. That's it. Thank you, Swagata. Thanks for the opportunity to talk endlessly, but that's fine.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.